Alright, so in this video I will show you how I create headlights. I will for that use a few mattes that I will need to generate myself. And for this I need once again new geometries, which I will import right now because I will create new mattes. These mattes were not output by Charles. He did not have access to it, and to be fair, he wasn't sure either what I would do in comp. So let me just bring this in. Go Regio, and for that one I will need the headlamp sides, alembic, and I will need the headlamp core alembic. So these, if everything goes alright, should be moving. Yeah, and I have the side which are outside, the core, alright. Now I'm going to put this in a scene. Again, as usual, scan and render, camera. The more scan and renders you have in your scene, the more likely it is that your scene will start to slow down. So I suggest you pre-comp as much as possible the scan and renders you have in your scene, especially if you are using alembics as sources. These, when you create more and more of these, it really tends to slow down your whole experience in Nuke. And not only in rendering side, but also in the GUI. There we go. So let's add a small color to these guys, and I think I will put it as a red. All right, and small alpha, and connect. So now when I'm rendering here in 2D, I have a matte of those headlamps, as you see, and they are matching quite nicely. I need to activate the multi-sampling of the scan render so that we would get some anti-aliasing. There we go, much softer and a bit closer. All right, and probably shutter should be at the center so that we have movement. But the movement would be interpolated from before frame and after frame. All right, that's not the last thing I would like to import. I would also like to import there is a geometry in these headlamps, which is kind of a strip of light. When I started looking at videos of this specific model of Lamborghini, I found that these headlights are always turned on. So I will try to bring it in, and for this I will need to have the car animation alembic, the main one. And I will just import specific geometries which I wrote down because the scene of the car is way too big by default. So I will deactivate most of it. Book. There we go. So now if I go see this car, it should be empty. And I will load the Poly 723. So let's go to 723. Right, just here. And 722. I can turn on this, and 724, 722, 772, I mean. All right, and if I go there, now I have my strips, which is very nice. So these, I can apply another color to it. Let's say green. Up, up. There you go. And this one, same, RGBA. All right, scene. And if everything is all right, I should have my nice matte for the headlights. So this one I'm going to pre-comp, and I will show you how to use it just after. So let's try to see if we can apply these headlights, make our headlights turn on the plate. So I'm going to bring this one around here just for clarity, and I might actually copy just the backdrop and bring it, so that's my black level, which should be before. Let's rescale this, reposition this. All right. Softness. Let's put our headlights around here. So this setup might have a lot of nodes, but it's just a way again to control different elements at different times. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take as much from the CGI element as I can. Let me delete this one. So what I will do is I will try to recover some of the informations which are already there. Just a manner to have some kind of detail and see what we can get from there. So refraction, check. Okay, refraction, we have the inside of the headlamps. That's not too bad. We can expose it up, see we can get some kind of detail around. It's not going to be super, well, let me see. Could go very strong because we want the headlights to be really turned on. And I'm going to use this one, the actual matte, because as you see, the inside is turned off here. So this is just reflection. It should actually not be exposed up. But I'm interested in the kind of, like the rim of the headlamp can be brighter because we're going to have a lot of assumed bounces of lights because of the headlamp being turned on. So for me, I actually like the fact that I'm going to add some values in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a node and let me see the values we have here. All right, so if I go there and if I go to one of the brightest values, oh, these are too bright, I think. All right, I'm going to create a constant with values around 18. That's already very bright. And I'm going to ask, okay, I'm going to use a max. Yep. I'm going to max it and I'm going to use the red channel. So the red channel is going to be the inside of the main headlamp. So shuffle, and I'm going to use the red. There we go. And I'm going also to, I'm going to mask out a bit of that so that we mostly get, right. Whoop. And I'm doing something wrong. That's good. And let's see. I think it's a problem with lining up. Yep. Yes. Okay. Well, I mistakenly rendered this headlight with the wrong resolution, so obviously it's not lining up. Let me rerun that, and that should fix it rather fast. And voila! Through the magic of editing, now we have the proper resolution here, meaning that now I am definitely doing something. So the idea here for me is that I'm creating this round headlight and I'm going to remove what's around it. So using multiply, alpha, and I'm going to invert the effect so that I'm removing everything but the headlight. And now I could use it straight away like this, but I actually want to keep some slight values around it. Something like this. Just, you know, again, just to try to fake the fact that a lot of stuff happens in these kind of blocks of mirrors and refractive objects. It's not going to be a big contribution, but it will help again. So I suspect we're going to need to soften this. The edges and everything looks a bit sharp. But let's first look how it looks on the car. So I'm adding just RG and B because that's only light. And as you can see, well, actually, that's not too bad. We are, something bad is happening there. Let me double check. All right, so what did I forget? I forgot to isolate the headlamps. So let me use a shuffle. And I think it's ID2. Was it ID2? No, it's ID1. ID1, and I'm going to use the blue only. And same thing. Multiply, look, and turn off. There we go. So now I should have, and there you go. So I have the headlights turning on. Now that's not exactly enough. I need also a bit of post-processing, and I would like really to have this band opening there. I also think that by default it's too sharp, so let's try to soften it a touch. So no fuss. I'm going to actually just blur, erode, and just try cheating a bit on this. So, okay, you know what? 2 is good. It starts to munch on the rest there. I'm going to do that. It's probably a bit too soft, though. Well, a bit too flat. Alright, let's try. Let's try different things. Right. This one, I'm going to do this way. I want the core to be a bit brighter, basically. That's going to be okay. And let's see how that looks. Right, it's not too bad. Let's see if I can correct a bit. Right, I think I'm overkilling it a bit here. Gamadan could be interesting, actually. Yeah. Right, let's leave it as is for now. Alright, so we have our first headlamp turned on. I'm going to do the same kind of system, but for the green component here. So shuffle, check. Most likely can use the same, but we'll see. Depends how it reacts. RGBA, green. There we go. Now, so let's build up our thing. I'm going to create a constant again. This one, I think those lights are actually a bit dimmer, so I'm going to use lesser values. Let's say 4 by default. Up, multiply, skip it simple for now. Invert, there we go, and I'm going to plus this on top of my, alright, headlamps here, and there we go. So that's way too bright, so we need to have a bit more detail in there, and this is also very flat. It's probably also not the right color temperature for what I want to do. So I will continue grading this a bit. Colorways, I would like them to be a bit like modern lights, so I'm going to make it a bit bluer. Okay, and something like this should be not too bad. Okay, so let's keep that for now. And I want, how do you see, these are very flat, and usually it's very flat and very broad. So I want it to be sharper, thinner, and I want the core to be brighter and white, a bit closer to this. So let's see how we can do that. A few things. I'm going to make, as you see, these lights are really too strong for this edge. They are going really outside of the headlights. So first of all, I will need to make sure that I'm actually properly matting them out, like probably like this. There we go. So we already have a better cut. I will also, same thing, probably need to start eroding these a bit. Actually, let me try filter erode. There we go. Alright, so I want it to be sharper, so that's actually going in the right direction, and I want it to not be too harsh, so I'm going to do a Gaussian, and it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to make sure that I'm eroding. That's not too bad, actually, maybe a bit much. Right, that's already a bit better, although it might be too smooth. Right, let's try that. The risk, this is a work of balancing. It can be very tricky, but you want to have something which is not too blurry, not too sharp. This is a bit too soft now, so I'm going to need to just maybe lose that for a moment and do that a bit simpler. Right, so let's say There we go. And that's much sharper. That's much better. It's closer to what I want. Okay, now I also want to have some ramping off. This is again a bit too flat, so I'm going to use the alpha of my headlamps, the overall glass in front, and I'm going to use erode filters. This is usually that point where you actually create plenty of different nodes which have different uses, just so that you can create a bit more and see what works, what doesn't work. It's a fairly iterative process, and there's nothing bad with it. It just takes time, right? As you see, now this is something I like. I like the fact that we have this kind of small variations. It gives a sense that stuff is happening in those headlights. Might probably need to recover a bit of the detail from the original, just so we have variations from darker and brighter. That's helping us also with grading later, because if they want to lower the exposure of the shot, they will still have some kind of variations and information in there, which is always a good thing for them to have, for the DI artist. And same thing, I'm going to try to turn off. I want the exterior to be a bit darker, but not the alpha. So let's invert this. All right, and let's do something like this. This way I'm way darker, and again that helps me having more information. That overall is more pleasing, I think, to the eye than a straight up flat shape. And we can probably reuse this one we used before, which has some values here. We can probably reuse to try to grade up the plate, maybe grade up the result of these. There we go. So let's see if we do this. Right. Much happening there. All right. Well, this node I think I might use a bit later. We'll see about that. The one thing I would like to do though is I would still like to have this part, especially this one, and this one a bit brighter. So for this, I think we can do a bit of detection, because the erode is not going to give us very good values yet. So we're going to have to cheat our way through. So I've prepared a small network, which I will try to explain. There we go. So this one is fairly simple. It's kind of a sharpening network. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm blurring the matte twice, and I'm dividing those two convolutions. The result is kind of a high contrast version of my matte, where the edges basically are slightly brighter. I'm also now just taking the original matte of the headlamp and blurring it. And when I multiply both, I obtain these very high values. And when I resample them, I've got these. So that's basically a very soft, kind of blobby erosion of the original matte. We go from here to there, and the idea is that this now I can use to grade my element. So in my case, what I will want is to have basically highlights in that area. So first thing first, when you do highlight, is always good to desaturate a bit. And let's see, are we grading properly the thing? This is the alpha. Yeah, that's correct. All right, so we're good. And we can most likely push the brightness quite a bit. I want to have this kind of very high core here. That's kind of nice, and it's soft, and it reads like something that would be behind some kind of a frosted or plastic coating, which is kind of interesting to me. Now, my headlights are very sharp, quite nice. We have range, so that's not too bad. There's one more thing I would like to do, and then I think this video will conclude. I will have another video later about small flares and glints and stuff like that. The one thing I will do for this one though is just a touch of glow. So I will go from probably around there, and quite simply, okay, this is my source. I'm adding the sharp version of it. I'm going to reuse the light sharp glows I have here. These are basically, they are kind of equivalent to an exponential glow. I mean, they are not exactly the same values, but it's kind of this softness that really accumulates, which is always nice for us. It can easily read like proper flaring, which is nice. And again, you have control over the core and the different regions of your glow. So let's do this, and I'm going to, okay, ideally I should add it at the end, on top of everything, because most likely what you want, if you want to work in a clean way, you want every lens effect to be applied near the end of your script. You always work from back of your scene to the very front, and of course what's closest to camera as you get closer to the film back. What's the closest is the grain, and just in front of that you have some chromatic aberrations and lensing in general. So always good practice again to do that. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so that's way too strong. Let's try 10%. Usually 10% is a good value. That still might be a bit too strong, but we'll see. I suspect it's just the values of my headlights which are a bit too strong. Let's see if we can reduce that a bit. Stops, and okay. Right, and let's reduce also the brightness of those. These ones I'm going to reduce a bit more. Oop. Right, let's see. I'm going to see them here. Again, the idea, we have range, something is happening, everything looks kind of nice. All right, I think I'm done for this little portion. I will show you some more tricks in the next video, where I will add some more glint and peps to the headlights. I will also add some halation around the specs, which is something I forgot so far, and we'll have another look at tech checks. All right, see you there.